everyone. Welcome to Becoming a Doer, Money and Procrastination. My name is Isaiah Goodman, Chief Financial Advocate at Becoming Financial. Today we're going to be talking about money, financial planning, and procrastination. Why don't we ever talk about this stuff? Why don't we ever do it? Well, there's 4 big things that I found why people don't want to talk about money, why people don't want to create a financial plan. Fear of change, they don't know who to trust, the costs, and life is just busy. When it comes to fear of change, it's just kind of ingrained into our habits. We kind of find our comfort zone, right? If you do things a certain way, you're kind of used to a certain lifestyle. It's scary to want to change, whether that's dieting or going to a new sort of organization like a new job. Anytime things change, it's a little bit scary, and so it comes like that with money. If you've been used to living a certain way or a certain lifestyle with money, and now somebody like a financial planner wants you to change, it's scary. It's really interesting. 44% of people surveyed said they feel more stressed by money than by relationships or work. That was a Federal Reserve survey. And so it's interesting to me that, more people feel stressed by money than relationships or work, but it's one of the things that we don't want to talk about. So big thing when it comes to fear of change is understanding, kind of like we talked about in becoming goal-oriented, is really thinking, why am I doing this? What's the whole purpose behind this? Because that'll hopefully help you get over that fear of change. Next big thing, who to trust. I know every day there's some sort of thing about a scam of some financial advisor or accountant or somebody taking money. So instead of doing anything or trusting anybody, a lot of us are just like, forget it. I'll just keep it under the mattress. But the thing there is, when it comes to trust, obviously talking to a few different types of financial advisors or financial planners, understanding their goals, their philosophies, and really, some of the things that make you comfortable. Is this somebody that I can see working in the industry for a long time? Because obviously you want them to be there to help you build your plans. But is it somebody that you would enjoy talking to as a friend for 20, 30, 40 years? That's the goal for financial planners and for our clients, is to build a relationship. And so when it comes to trusting somebody, obviously you want somebody who's credentialed, they've passed all their exams, and they know what they're doing. But it comes down to that relationship and that friendship. Is this somebody that you would want to work with as a friend for a number of years? That's going to be the big indicator for me if I was in the client side of things. So when it comes to procrastinating, I get it. If you don't know who to trust, why even start? But it kind of builds on itself, right? The longer you wait, the bigger the issues can get. And so the more of a secret it seems like that you have to reveal to somebody when it's time to tell it. And so I'd say, if you're not sure who to trust, just go for it. Just tell somebody, because odds are that if you don't like them, they've met enough people that they might not even remember your story specifically. So go for it. Next big thing, cost. It's kind of tough when it comes to financial planning. There's a lot of minimums. Sometimes financial advisors say, I'd love to work with you, but you need to have X number of assets for us to work with you. And a lot of times those numbers are really high, 250,000, 500,000 or more in order to work with an advisor. Or sometimes it's just the cost of the products. Life insurance can be expensive if you don't find the right type of plan. Paying a financial advisor a fee, that could be expensive if they're charging you a lot for their services. So a big hurdle for a lot of us is, how much is this going to cost? I don't have any money to do the financial planning, right? Where do you start? So with that, I would really say, just start with education. If you can learn some stuff online, obviously podcasts, blogs, videos like this, where you can start to just get some little bits of information. So understanding what's out there, that's going to give you some knowledge about how much some of this should cost. And then that kind of relates to the previous question too, who you should trust. If it's somebody that's providing you free advice, well, obviously there's a certain amount of value there that you got to take with a grain of salt. If it's somebody that's charging tons and tons of money, they might be really credentialed and know what they're talking about, but maybe it's not the right fit for you. So really think about that when it comes to the cost, when it comes to how much you're investing in your future for financial planning or financial services or products. The big first step is to take care of your goals. So if it's going to cost a couple $1,000 a year to help you figure out how to pay down your student debt, but student debt is your number one priority, it's the biggest stressor day to day, I think it's going to be worth it. When it comes to different expenses that we spend every day or every week, we're happy to go get the latte, or we're happy to go get a new movie or something like that. But those might not help us accomplish our goals. They help us feel good, but the cost might not be worth it over time. So just something to think about. The last one, and probably actually the biggest thing, why we procrastinate when it comes to money and financial planning, life's busy. From the time you wake up, from the time you go to bed, you're doing something. You're picking up kids, you're dropping off kids, you're going to work, you're going to sporting events, you're trying to keep up with friends, family, coworkers, all of that. And I get it. And you want to have some fun and relax and try to get to the gym and eat right, all of it. Life's so busy that it's hard to sit down and actually think about, how do I do this financial planning? Where do I start? What I would recommend is just start with something small. Try to build a habit. Maybe it's 30 minutes every Saturday morning. You grab a cup of coffee, you sit down, you say, how do I start my budgeting? You read a couple blogs like ours, you check out a couple podcasts or videos, and you just set that time aside to say, I'm going to decide to make this happen. That's the biggest thing. When life is busy, you just have to decide to prioritize. I know it's tough to think about, but usually it's just a matter of I'm deciding to do this versus doing that. And when it comes to financial planning, one of the biggest regrets that people have later in life is that they didn't start soon enough. You talk to a 60, 70, 80-year-old, and they wish they would have started when they were 20, 25, 30, instead of waiting until they were 40 or 50. So with life being busy, I get it. I'm not saying that you should stop everything to do your financial planning, but allocate some time. And just decide, hey, every time I have an extra 15 minutes on a Saturday morning, or in between commercials on my favorite episode of Grey's Anatomy on a Thursday, try to Google some stuff about financial planning, try to meet with a planner, try to get this stuff going.